Your gym is probably lying to you. Not maliciously, but they are. They teach you how to lift heavy over there and they teach you how to run far over there. What they don't teach you is how to do both. They sell you on two different paths because of becoming a beast in a weight section or an engine on the treadmill. But what if the goal isn't to be a specialist? What if you want to be brutally strong and tirelessly fit without having to choose? Because there are truths, let's call them secrets, about fatigue, recovery, and performance that can turn a decent athlete into an unbreakable one. Most trainers, either they don't know them or ignore them because selling a simple specialized program is just easier. So today we're going to be dragging some of those secrets into a fight. Secret number one, the interference effect is not your enemy. Bad scheduling is. For decades, we've been fed the gospel of the interference effect, the idea that cardio will cannibalize your strength gains. So why the biggest guy in your gym thinks a 1 mile run will cause his biceps to spontaneously deflate. But the truth, the interference effect is itself massively overblown. Your real enemy is much simpler: stupid scheduling. Elite hybrid athletes don't get weaker because they run, they get smarter about when they run. The problem isn't doing both strength and endurance, it's the residual fatigue from one session bleeding into the next and sabotaging it. Of course, a max effort squat session is going to suck if you just ran grueling sprints. That's not interference, that's just a dumb plan. Let's be clear. Does concurrent training build strength as effectively as strength-only training? Well, a 2022 meta-analysis shows it's slightly less effective. We're talking small but real difference. However, the same studies show that when you separate sessions by at least 6 to 24 hours, that compromise becomes very minimal. You're choosing to trade a tiny fraction of your absolute max strength for a huge gain in all-around performance. That's the compass. Move towards specialization or move towards hybrid resilience. The secret to stop fearing cardio and stop managing fatigue like a resource. Prioritize your main goal for that day. If it's a strength day, lift first while you're fresh. If you must do both on the same day, separate them by at least 6 hours. Or better yet, choose your tools wisely. Cycling, for instance, has been shown to create less interference than running, making a powerful choice. You don't have to avoid fatigue, you just have to strategically decide when and how you get tired. Secret number two, tissue tolerance is your real ceiling, not VO2 max. Everyone in fitness is obsessed with two metrics, their 1 rep max and their VO2 max. We treat them as the ultimate measures of your worth. But for the hybrid athlete, the thing that will inevitably break you, long before your lungs or muscles gives out, is something most people completely ignore: your tissue tolerance. I'm talking your connective tissues, tendons, ligaments, fascia that hold your skeleton together. The hard truth on this is your muscles and cardiovascular system adapt fast. You can see your mile time drop or your squat numbers climb in a matter of weeks, but your connective tissues adapt at a completely different timeline. With less blood flow, the process of strengthening them is brutally slow and methodical. This creates a dangerous adaptation gap. Your engine gets a turbocharger, but your chassis is still stock. This is where hybrid athletes fail. It isn't a lack of willpower, it's biological reality. The cumulative stress from pounding the pavement and moving heavy iron overloads your tendons and joints. The results? Tendonitis, stress fractures, chronic pain. Most hybrid failures are not metabolic, they're structural. So the secret is to shift your focus. Your training volume shouldn't be dictated by how in shape you feel, it should be dictated by the durability of your tissues. This means progressing slowly and listening to the quiet complaints from your joints before they scream. And it's not sexy, but building robust connective tissue is what separates the athletes who thrive for years from those who flame out with injuries in a few months. A big engine is useless if the frame cannot handle the horsepower. Alright, secret number three. Hybrid athletes have to train transitions, not just your lifts and runs. In a hybrid event like think HYROX or DecaFit, the race isn't won on the run or the squat rack. It's won in the transitions. It's one of those ugly, chaotic moments when you switch from one demand to the next. Your gym teaches you how to run. It teaches you how to lift. But does it teach you how to run after your central nervous system has become fried by heavy deadlifts? Does it teach you how to hold a sandbag when your heart rate is redlining, your grip is gone? Probably not. And it's the forgotten skill of the hybrid athlete of transition efficiency. This isn't about strength or endurance, it's about neurological coordination under extreme duress. When you go from heavy sled push to a run, your body has to frantically remap its movement patterns and your blood flow. Your form breaks down, energy leaks are everywhere, your performance craters, not because your muscles fail, but because your brain is struggling to switch gears. The best hybrid athletes know this. They train this chaos deliberately. Their workouts aren't just a checklist of exercises, they're designed to simulate the neurological nightmare of competition. They program a hard run immediately after a heavy carry. They do burpee broad jumps right into a farmer's walk. They are moving toward mastering the chaotic space between disciplines. This is the whole game. Hybrid performance is won or lost in the minutes you spend switching tasks. By training your nervous system to handle those transitions efficiently, you plug the energy leaks that sink most athletes. Alright, on to secret number 4. Your breathing is the hidden governor of your performance. We think of fatigue as a simple input-output problem. Your legs burn, your lungs heave, so you stop. But what if one of the first things to fail, long before your legs actually give out, is your respiratory system? For a hybrid athlete, breathing isn't just an automatic process, it's a skill, and it's secretly governing your entire performance. Under the combined stress of lifting and conditioning, your respiratory muscles, your diaphragm, your intercostals can fatigue just like your quads or biceps. And when they do, your brain perceives a survival threat and hits the emergency brake on your entire system. It's a protective downregulation. It limits performance to keep the system from redlining, meaning you gas out even though your limb muscles could have done more work. On top of that, your breathing pattern is directly linked to your core stability. Panic, shallow breathing creates a weak, unstable trunk. That means you're leaking force on every single lift and every single stride. And elite athletes know this. They treat breathing as a trainable skill. They use nasal breathing during conditioning to build respiratory muscle endurance. They use braced, powerful breaths to maintain trunk stiffness during a heavy carry. This is a complete paradigm shift. Breathing is no longer passive now. It's an active tool you can use to manage your energy, stabilize your body, and stay clear-headed under pressure. So start practicing it. Focus on deep, diaphragmatic breaths during a sandbag hold. Try nasal-only breathing on your next easy run. Your ability to control your breath when your body is screaming is a massive untapped advantage. So before we get to the last 3 secrets, including the number 1 reason your recovery is failing, if you're finding this useful, hit the subscribe button. We're cutting through the fitness industry noise like this every single week. Alright, moving into secret number 5. You have an impact budget, don't go bankrupt. Every step you run, every time you jump, you're placing mechanical stress on your joints, tendons, and bones. You need to think of this as an impact budget, like a bank account. You only have so much you can spend before you go into debt. And in athletics, that debt comes in the form of injury, inflammation, burnout. Most athletes only track training volume, miles run, pounds lifted. Elite athletes also track their impact budget. They understand that running 5 miles and dragging a sled for the same cardiovascular effort are 2 very different withdrawals from that same account. The run is a massive expense in terms of joint stress. The sled is a bargain. This changes how you should program your training. You don't always have to cut volume to recover, you just have to be smart about where it comes from. Knees screaming from all the running? You don't have to stop doing cardio, you just have to choose a different tool. You swap high-cost withdrawals for low-cost ones. Sled pushes, loaded carries, and work on a bike or a rower are all phenomenal ways to build a world-class engine while letting your joints heal. Here's your basic compass on this one. You can spend your budget on high-impact running, which moves you toward a better runner, or you can diversify with low-impact tools to build the same engine with less wear and tear, moving you toward longevity, managing your portfolio, balancing high-impact stocks like running with low-impact bonds like sled work. Alright, secret number 6. Strong means something different when you're also running. In a traditional gym, strength means one thing, your 1 rep max. It's a number that's great for bragging rights. But for a hybrid athlete, obsessing over your absolute max, it could be a trap. Being strong is non-negotiable, but chasing a monster 1 rep max often brings diminishing returns and can actively work against you in other areas. When endurance is part of your equation, the definition of strong has to evolve. The real question isn't how much can you lift, it's how effectively can you move a heavy load repeatedly when you're already deep in the pain cave. The standards must change. Instead of only chasing absolute strength, smart hybrids prioritize other qualities, like repeatable strength, your ability to execute solid reps with heavy but not maximal weight when your heart is pounding, or unilateral strength. Single legs, single arm lunges, split squats, single arm presses build the kind of stability that directly translates to running efficiency and injury proofing. And then you have isometric strength, the ability to just hold a heavy object without moving. This is the foundation of every loaded carry. How long can you hold a bear hug sandbag for as long as possible? Could you hold it 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5, 10 minutes? It's a good question. It's a good test. This doesn't mean you stop lifting heavy. Low volume, high intensity lifting is incredibly effective and time efficient for a hybrid athlete. But the goal shifts. You move away from gym bro bragging rights and toward functional transferable strength that serves you outside the squat rack. A 500-pound squat is impressive, but if it costs you so much that you can't run a 5K without your knees exploding, is it truly useful for your goals? Let go of the old standards and start valuing the kind of strength that actually makes you harder to kill. And secret number 7, the last secret of all of this: recovery is not rest. It's active resynchronization. What's the first thing you're told when you feel beaten down and overtrained? Take a rest day. And what does that usually mean? Sitting on the couch and doing absolutely nothing. For a hybrid athlete, this kind of passive rest is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Real recovery isn't about rest, it's about resynchronization. Think about it. You're hammering multiple systems in your body, and they all recover on different schedules. Your nervous system might bounce back from a sprint workout in 24 hours. Your muscles might need 48 to 72 hours to repair after a brutal leg day. Your connective tissues, longer. If you just take a day of complete rest, you're treating all those systems as they heal at the same rate. They don't. Doing nothing is a blunt, inefficient tool. This can lead to a state of desynchronization where one system is ready to train but another is still broken down. True recovery is an active process. It's about using low-intensity movement to help your body heal without adding new stress. This is what active recovery usually means. A light jog, an easy spin, swim, focused mobility work, all increasing that blood flow, help shuttling out metabolic waste, and gently nudging your various systems to get back in sync. Instead of your body hoping to figure it out, you're going to be actively guiding the process. Elite athletes don't just rest more, they also recover smarter. After a hard training day, their off day might be 30 minutes of light cycling and 20 minutes of mobility work. They stop just resting, start resynchronizing. So there they are, the 7 truths that change the game. So let's recap. 1. Stop fearing interference and start mastering your schedule. 2. Your ceiling isn't your engine, it's your tissue tolerance. Build a durable chassis. 3. Train the chaos of transitions, not just clean movements. 4. Your breathing is a skill that governs your performance. Train it. 5. Manage your impact budget. Don't go bankrupt for the sake of junk miles. 6. Redefine strength, valuable, repeatable, real-world power over gym numbers. And finally, recovery is an active process of resynchronization, not passive rest. This isn't just a list of tips, it's a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about moving the outdated specialized model and embracing the philosophy of a true hybrid athlete. Strong, resilient, ready for anything. The information is here. The trade-offs are clear. Now the work is yours to do.